All right, good morning, good morning. We should have Maul and the Sergeant Major and Tim and Rhonda at the farm watching this morning.
Well, all right then.
Let's do a show, baby. And good morning. And you know what? I get to start off this morning by saying good morning to Across the Pond Unverified Bear. I'm thrilled to see you finally make it on time one morning. I know I've seen several of your comments where like, oh shit, I missed it again. Like, well, we're super happy to see you with us this morning. And of course, I see GCM says FTP, happy FAF, my man. So, and Ben, we're gonna talk just a little bit later in the show. I got a special safety brief, so watch to the end this morning. We were out at the farm on Wednesday with Maul and the Smudge and some family, and we're gonna tell a little story about that at the end of the show here. So, let's see. I see the Dannies. Fit Danny and the Fit Life with Danielle. Y'all make sure you keep an eye out on Danielle because she should have a new blog come Monday morning. And there's Tim Lowry. Good morning, Tim. Good to see you. And I guess Ma and Granddad must be crowded around your phone with you. But yeah, good morning, guys. It's Firearms Friday. How you doing this morning, brother?
It's Friday.
See, I got a late start this morning because I had a late night last night. The internet was down. And I mean all the internet was down. And that's not just, well, I'm aggravated because I can't watch my streaming shows on Netflix. No. I got home from work, as in going and shooting pictures of houses with a shitload of pictures that I'm trying to get paid for. And, oh dear, I can't upload the pictures and fulfill the contracts and get paid. And I thought the math over real quick between the houses I shot yesterday, one of which was a big expensive high-rise condo in downtown Atlanta. I'm looking at like, $500,000 in commissions for these agents that are waiting on my photographs. Like, well, shit. So I had to drive over to McDonald's.
$500,000 in commissions or sales?
Commissions. The condo had a point in it.
With a half... How much was the condo?
It had a point in it. 2.6.
2 points. So the agent got a 20% commission?
No, not on that one house.
Oh, I saw anyhow.
Between all the houses, somewhere around there.
I thought agents got like 7% something. I thought anyhow.
I shot a lot of big pretty properties yesterday. But anyway, point being, I ended up having to sit in the parking lot at McDonald's until almost midnight last night to steal their Wi-Fi to make my uploads happen. Yeah, Striker, for a second, I read Lamburgers, and I thought you were going to make some hamburger Lamborghini joke there. But no, I get it. Lamburgers, you know what? I could suddenly see that with like a mint jelly and some diced pickled onions. That sounds like witchcraft on a brioche bun right there. Pitt says I could have gone to his place closer to the McDonald's. Yeah, but it was late, brother. I didn't want to bother anybody. So, it is Firearms Friday, and let's do some of these. You want to start with this first one, Cameron?
Sure. Waco. Oh boy. Waco. Gosh. Yeah, y'all, David Koresh was a piece of shit, but that didn't mean the ATF needed to go fucking murder everybody. Anyhow.
Yeah, they could have just murdered Koresh.
Look, man.
That's not what they wanted.
No, it's not what they wanted. And to be clear, David Koresh was a piece of shit, but oh my God, the ATF just handled the whole thing wrong. Anyhow, okay. So every time I see Waco, y'all, it's like, woo! A man is dead after police say a bystander shot and killed him when he heard three women calling for help inside a room at Hotel Indigo on 211 Clay Avenue.
Man, I like it I like that kind of writing. You get the hook in right in the beginning. It's like in Heinlein's book Friday. The first sentence is, she stepped off the elevator, turned around, and killed him. That's the first sentence. That's the book. Let's go.
The shooter cooperated with police and was not arrested. Police say it started around 3 a.m. when a man staying at a hotel heard people yelling for help in the hallway. He found a room where a man was in a fight with three women. Police say in a press release the bystander tried to help, but it upset the original aggressor. The original aggressor attacked the bystander, which prompted the bystander to fire one shot at the original aggressor. Police and emergency crews were called in. When they arrived on the scene, they performed life-saving measures, transported the original aggressor to the hospital where he later died. One of the women involved had a minor injury. Police say the bystander cooperated with the investigation and was not arrested. Everyone involved was staying at Hotel Indigo.
Okay, now this is interesting.
Wait, hold on. Did Chat GPT write this? 'Cause
odds are, high degree of probability.
You know what I mean, though. Like, it's,
and that, this language right here, I haven't seen this appear in these articles before. The original aggressor. That's an interesting piece of language, and I think what's going on there. We've pointed out many times in the past that these articles, especially when they're written in extremely left-wing areas, they tend to refer, if the bad guy, if the original aggressor ends up getting killed for his trouble,
he's the victim,
then he gets listed as the victim. And now I'm going to give just a little bit of leeway, a little bit of fair play to the guys that use that language in these kind of articles, and say, I get it, you got somebody who died that shouldn't be called a victim because they were the assailant. Original aggressor, that's a little better. Assailant's a pretty good word, but I understand that we just don't have a word that's in use in common parlance to describe the person who died in an unfortunate, bad situation that, frankly, deserved to die. If anybody in the situation, right, you got an aggressor, a victim, and a hero. What do you call the expired aggressor? I have an idea. I have a thought on this. How about trophy?
It was a lot of setup, but it was okay.
So, not enough information here to really go into a deep dive on this particular article, but enough to say that sounds like a clean shoot.
Oh, I don't know.
We got ourselves a DO.
Chris, how much more information do you need than this happened? It was one guy in a fight with three tricks. Haha. One guy in a fight with three chicks at the Hotel Indigo at 3 a.m. How much more info do you need? I have all the info I need from that right there.
The only thing I cannot necessarily and reliably extract from the available data is the occupation of the trophy. I don't know if he was a pimp or a John.
Or
an undercover cop. Let's move on. Cashier fires back at suspect trying to rob. Hey, no. You go away. trying to rob store with gun. Police say the store had a gun. Wow. Happened just before 12:30 a.m. at the 7-Eleven on San Pedro Avenue. An attempted robbery at a downtown gas station turned into a shootout involving a cashier early Friday morning, police say. It happened just before 12:30 in the morning at the 7-Eleven on San Pedro Avenue. Police say the suspect walked into the store and demanded money from the cashier. When he threatened the cashier with his gun, the cashier responded by pulling out his own gun. Investigators say they began shooting at each other. The suspect got away, and the store clerk told police he believed the suspect was hit by bullets. Meanwhile, a customer in the store was grazed by a bullet, but that person refused medical treatment. This was okay. Yeah, this was Texas. No, I'm good. I'm good. Go get the bad guy. I'm cool. I'll put some duct tape on it. The suspect got away. Police are still looking for the suspect. The cashier has been detained for questioning. If you know anything about this crime, you are asked to call the police. We've got a video clip here, but I see police tape in the thumbnail, which means that's going to be some kind of interview afterward. Well, here, let's see if they got us any of the security footage. Maybe we can see the bad guy running away, holding his wounded butt cheek. Nope, just nope, no joy. So, since okay, so that's all the story there. That seems pretty open and shut right there. You walked into a gas station with a gun and said, "Give me your money," and the cashier said, "No."
Yeah, like don't commit armed robbery.
Unverified mentions that he shot my arm off. Attempted holdup was my favorite video last year. Yes, that was excellent. Made for a great show, and we had a lot of laughs over that one. And Pitt Danny says, "It's my work shirt." Exactly. Yeah, it was a little blood next to the oil stain and whatever else that is. I think we're good to go.
Yeah, don't commit armed robbery.
Yeah.
And
don't commit armed robbery, and nobody will shoot your arms off.
Well, and not only that, but like...
You have the right to keep and bear arms.
Right. But not only that, but if I have the drop on you, as in, I have my weapon drawn, and you do not, and you still manage to draw your weapon and wound me, bruh, look, armed robbery is not something you should be engaged in.
Correct.
At that point. Like, you had one job, and you failed miserably at it and almost got killed for your trouble.
And you know, being a professional career criminal, armed robber is kind of like being a janitor. Your job might be shitty. You might catch crap all day, but you should still try to do the best job you can. You want to take the next one?
Yes, let's do it. All right, Sarasota, Florida. Here we go.
Florida man.
The Sarasota...
Where's Mario?
The Sarasota County Sheriff's Office is investigating a shooting that happened at a vacation rental home on Sunday. Deputies responded to a home in the Gulf Gate neighborhood located in the 6500 block of Colonial Drive at 2:13 a.m. According to a report from SNN TV. I know, I kept wanting to pronounce it phonetically instead of read it out. A family on vacation awoke to someone on the lanai, allegedly trying to break into the home. I learned a new word today. Well, I'm going to. I don't know what a lanai is.
It's a patio.
I can infer, but one of the family members reported shooting the intruder because they felt threatened. All parties involved are accounted for, and there is no threat to the public at this time, the sheriff's office wrote in a release on Sunday. As of Monday, the alleged intruder remains in critical condition at Sarasota Memorial Hospital.
He says, that a Florida room. Lanai is a Hawaiian word that it's basically a patio or a porch, and you hear it used in places that have palm trees because they're trying to pretend like they're a little more Hawaii than they are.
So, like, is it enclosed?
Nope, not necessarily.
So it could just be like a regular ass porch.
You walk out the door and there's a concrete pad.
That's a lanai.
Yeah, if you can see a palm tree, that's a lanai. In fact, if you might drive by a palm tree on your way to the store, you could probably get away with calling it a lanai.
You know, that Frou-Frou subdivision around the corner from here, they've got palm trees out front of the...
Right. So they have lanais and solariums instead of porches and sunrooms.
See, I know what a solarium is.
Yeah. Like I tell the agents I work with, when you buy a house, it's got a sunroom. When you sell it, it's got a solarium. That's a $10,000 word.
Right.
Lanai, if you play your cards right, it's about the same kind of thing.
Right.
If you're drinking from a coconut, it's a lanai. you mean like one of those, Bear?
Okay. Yeah, I don't think there's much more to it. It seems a bit extreme. I mean, depending on the situation, shooting somebody for being on your porch is like, that's I'd like to have more details.
Danny says a lanai has to have a roof. Okay. I accept this.
Okay, see, I figured it couldn't just be a porch. Like, okay, now if a lanai has to have a roof, now...
That changes some of the tactical decisions that may have been made in this situation, but not dramatically.
I mean, yeah, because, if somebody just walks onto your porch and you shoot them, now if somebody walks onto your covered porch, thereby implying that they've breached some kind of barrier and you shoot them, now all of a sudden it starts to make a bit more sense. So, anyhow.
Yep. All right, let's do one. We can
do another one.
We got one or two more. Okay, so this is an update. Hello. From KLAS8newsnow.com. Update. The Clark County Coroner's Office identified the man who was shot and killed as 35-year-old Tyrone Trotter. His cause of death was listed as multiple gunshot wounds, with the manner being homicide. Las Vegas. A home intruder was shot and killed in North Las Vegas Tuesday afternoon, according to the police. On July 4th, around 1 p.m., officers received a call saying a home intruder was shot in the 600 block of San Sage Avenue near Cary Avenue and Revere Street. When officers arrived, they found the intruder dead. After the preliminary investigation, police determined that the man, who the residents did not know, entered the house through the front door. And that was his first mistake. And apparently his last. Home intruder was shot and killed at Las Vegas home. This is an ongoing investigation. No further details are available at this time. So here's a phone number. If you have any information, y'all can call the North Las Vegas PD. It might be fun one morning to just call these police departments and ask them, hey, we're a journalistic organization here. We're doing some journalism, and we was hoping you'd answer some journalisms. You got a minute there, Sheriff? So I think we covered this one the other day when it happened, so I guess this is really just an update that gives us his name.
Update. He's still
dead. But now we know who he is.
Well, what's funny is like this. The cause of death was listed as multiple gunshot wounds, with the manner being homicide, and it's like, you think
it wasn't a maintenance mistake? It just went off.
He was electrocuted. He was swapping out switches on a panel, and he wasn't wearing safety gear. Didn't have the proper PPE. Cooked himself. The gunshot wounds were just incidental.
Bear, I'm a journalist, Sheriff. Is this a porch or lanai?
Okay, then.
There's a similar word, like lanai, the word veranda, that I didn't know what it meant the first time I heard it. And, in all fairness to me, the first time I heard the word, it was a chick's name who I just met.
Fair enough. See, but it means it's that girl's name over there.
Yeah.
That's the great thing about proper nouns. Like, they come with their own baked-in definition.
Yes.
Let's
But
do
if I
one
ever
more.
need to write a set of triplet sisters, they're going to be veranda, lanai, and porch. You say Portia?
Oh.
No, I said porch.
No, Porch.
She's a big girl.
Porch
Big
got-
girl.
See, and now, this with the Alex is also talking about lanais and saying I thought it had to be raised like a balcony. So a raised, enclosed structure with a roof. Now I understand why somebody got shot. Like, some drunk wanders up to your porch and you shoot him, you're gonna have a problem. But somebody like walks up a flight of stairs and opens a screen door.
He says he always thought a veranda had to be raised, not a lanai, and I think that's correct.
Either way, we can squeeze in another one from
We'll have to ask Shay. He's the architectural master.
Butter.
There's like nothing here, but we'll take a peek at it. Go for it.
Suspected home intruder shot by Colorado Springs resident dies. Colorado Springs, Colorado. KKTV. A home invasion turned shooting is under investigation. Around 7:45 p.m. Tuesday, the Colorado Springs Police Department responded to a burglary on Nebula Court in the Bear Creek neighborhood. The homeowner told police that an unknown man entered his home. Police say the homeowner then shot the person who fled the home. The shot person, who has not yet been publicly identified, was later found by officers. He was taken to the hospital where he died. The homicide unit is now investigating this death. We will update this article as we learn more. And yeah.
I think that's about all we get there.
Yeah.
Sarmage says Miranda has old white women and snuff.
That's
In Savannah, Georgia, there is a ladies' club that gets together once a week and drinks mint juleps at a bar on River Street, and I always got a chuckle out of that because let me tell you something. You start talking about cocktails, a mint julep is just a glass of bourbon with some leaves on top of it. I mean, it's just a glass of bourbon, a little bit of sugar and mint.
I have actually been to a True Blue horse race. Do you know that there's a full-blown horse track in Northwest Georgia?
Yeah, I haven't been there, but yeah, I'm aware of it.
Well, so I went to some.
I remember all the controversy around building it to begin with.
Huh? Anyhow.
Go ahead.
Anyhow, in another life, I went out there and yeah, man, those cocktails. They're not cocktails when you think about cocktails. It's liquor.
Yeah.
With some ice and some syrup. Like when you say I want a Jack and Coke, it's like Jack, Coke. Like that's
I want a glass of liquor with a splash of color.
right. But anyhow, but they get together and all that. But look, back to the article.
Such as it is. I mean, that's the whole thing right there. Sorry,
Well,
I forgot to turn off the DOT.
Well, you know what though? I mean, I think it's appropriate to investigate the home invasion.
Agreed.
I think it's appropriate to have the homicide unit investigating it because you did have one human being kill another one. And while there's things about this article that I'm kind of torn here because on the one hand, you want to talk about, just the facts, ma'am. That's it right here. There's no calling the perp a victim. You could maybe argue that certain things are implied here, but just with it being what it is, like,
It reads more like a police report summary than...
It does. Yeah, that's actually a really good way to put it. This is a summary of somebody else's report, and it just goes to the facts. We will update this article as we learn more. But yeah, don't break into somebody's house. Especially, apparently, not on Nebula Court in the Bear Creek neighborhood.
Apparently.
Because apparently they arm there.
It's like the Colorado version of Kennesaw.
I get... Oh, man. Kennesaw.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. All right. Well, it is Friday. We're going into the weekend. It's not a long weekend or a particularly special weekend, but we had a good time earlier this week. Like I said, we were out at the farm for a little bit, and we were out in the yard playing with the Sergeant Major's recent acquisition, his new 300 Win Mag. Here's a little footage from an iPhone of the old man taking a shot. I mean, and that's from across the pond, probably about 300 yards. And well, I mean, there's a box right here. There's actually a box with a target on it right here. It was bright that day, but I mean, he hit that son of a bitch.
Oh, come on, man. It was funny.
Oh, no, it was. No, I'm with you. But, you know, and we had my cousin Tim shown here riding with Ma and Rhonda out on the out on the golf cart out on the farm. And, you know, this was the first time Tim got to fire that rifle. And it's a beautiful, beautiful gun, wood furniture, beautifully polished. And, but it's 300 Win Mag. And my advice to you, if you are going to fire a large caliber rifle that you have never fired before, hug that pretty girl, love on her, pull her in tight to your shoulder, and lean back off the scope a bit.
No. Oh no.
Lean back off the scope a little bit.
Oh.
I would like to point out that he took his safety glasses off for the photo. He was, in fact, wearing glasses, and it still got him. So you could just about read the label on the on the scope from there and figure out what model it was. So you got to love on her. You got to hold her. You got to pull her tight in and lean your head back just a little bit.
Okay, that was funny. When he said yesterday he had something special, I had no idea what it was. I'm glad I remained in the dark about
I have struggled not to drop this into the infamous thread for 2 days just so that I could pop it on you like that and get your reaction on camera. So, it is Friday, and that was your safety brief. Love that. Alex says every scope has an eye relief spec. Use it. Correct.
So I'm curious because I don't actually know. What does that fire? Like, what's the round?
The 300 Magnum.
Oh,
yeah, it's 300 Win Mag. That is the round.
Oh,
it's
what was the?
Oh. Whoops.
Well, look, I see.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a pretty rifle. It's a pretty rifle. We'll have to go down and see the old man.
So basically, you could hunt polar bear with it.
Yeah, that's a fair assertion.
Okay, all right, that's good to know.
Okay, so Unverified Bear. Okay, look, we'll end it here. Unverified Bear asks, serious question: where are the militias? In the 90s, it really felt like they were a thing. All this social and political chaos in the U.S. in current year. Where are they? Would they be ready? They are rather carefully not posting online is where they are. There are several militias, and we've done shows on this a couple times in the past where we talked about the law related to militia. And it's important to understand that in the context of the Second Amendment and understanding how the law relates to militia, individual, privately organized militias are afforded many of the same rights and responsibilities, but not identical authorities with the organized militia. So they're referred to in the Dick Act, for example, the U.S. Army and the reserve components, et cetera, and the idea of people hanging out on a farm practicing tactics and being ready to answer the call if needed. Those are referred to as the organized and unorganized militias. And the reason that's done in the law regarding military is to maintain the legal clarity that as a U.S. citizen with the uninfringible, inalienable, original creator right to keep and bear arms, it is both a right to prepare yourself to gird thyself against an evil world and defend your life, liberty, property, family, etc., and a responsibility to keep and maintain arms sufficient to engage on behalf of a grateful nation should the need arise. And that the law is constructed that way, and that the culture of the United States encourages that level of readiness is on the long list and toward the top of the long list of reasons that we have not had a serious invasion in the contiguous United States. Now, that we have allowed that cultural perception to desist and deteriorate somewhat is a contributing factor to the rise of its incidences like the Chaz Chop situation and the rise of the couple of hundred similar autonomous zones that popped up throughout 2020 and the several dozen that are still existing today. But there has been a clear and recognizable weaponization of the United States government against United States citizens. And part of that has been the use of intelligence agencies gathering actionable data on groups like or unorganized militias across the country. And so they have taken to some very careful communication security, InfoSec, and PhysSec, and simply attempt to not engage in those conversations where you would see that conversation online somewhere. Those conversations are now being held in person or over things like ham radio networks. So,
but here's the thing. I mean, part of what he was asking about, I think, is something that might not be obvious unless you lived in this country and had a long arc of how things have culturally developed over this country, over the course of the past couple of decades in this country is what I mean to say. You got the first level of stuff where, like, all those guys that got accused of trying to kidnap and murder Gretchen Whitmer, and it turns out that it was the feds that were trying to literally entrap the militia into doing it. And
right.
Then you've got everything with groups like Patriot Front and even militia adjacent groups like the Proud Boys that are getting fined. They're looking at prison time. If you even ever talked to a militia and you were involved in the January 6th incident, you're in deep shit.
You might as well be Taliban.
Right? You are in deep, deep shit. And then you've got the additional layer of it where for quite some time now, and in the media, in pop culture, in whatever, militias are pretty consistently portrayed as a bunch of middle-aged, overweight white guys that have definitely got a sub 100 IQ and tend to be alcoholics or latent homosexuals or whatever. So you have the fact that not only is being in a militia not cool, but it is distinctly uncool. It is distasteful to be in a militia. Socially, people think you're crazy or dumb, but you've also got the additional layer of there are FBI agents that will try and penetrate your militia, and anything they can put you in jail over, anything they can embarrass you over, anything they can fine you over, anything they can charge you with a crime over, it's going to happen. And if they have to go so far as to literally making up a plot to kidnap and murder an existing governor and sort of talk the rest of the guys into doing it even though they don't want to, just so they can charge you with a crime, that's what they'll do. So any militia that's worth half a damn, you might not even know exists unless something's on fire. So, you know.
And then the other part of it is to what you said about it being uncool, et cetera. Think back. I'm sure many of you have watched TV shows like Bones, Psych. Think back to all. I doubt you can name a boilerplate police drama, police procedural drama that does not at some point in the series include dealing with a militia or a cult. And they go out of their way to create this kind of idea that all militias are essentially the Waco cult plus psychotic Mormons raping underage girls and forcing them into child marriages. And that is...
Yeah, there's a specific archetype.
Right. Most actual militias meet once or twice a month, do some paramilitary training, and then go drink some beers. And for most of them, apart from their individual preparedness, readiness training, and range time, they don't live on one compound together. They're not doing that. That's a very rare creature.
They practice dressing wounds.
Correct.
Like that's
we've talked about the CDC zombie response program, which is, they call it the zombie apocalypse response program, but what it's designed for is, if you know how to survive the zombie apocalypse, then you have been trained and prepared to do first aid, to deal with natural disaster, to deal with foreign invasion, to deal with spread of pandemic, to deal with loss of resources, to deal with government collapse, et cetera. And there it is. Sergeant Major says, do the safety brief again. I think what he means is show the funny picture again. So I'm just going to do that.
That's a safety brief.
That's a safety brief right there. And now we got to wrap it up because I got to get over to Sonoya and shoot a house. Y'all be safe out there. We love you. And we fucking love you too, Unverified Bear. Thanks for joining us this morning. And we will see you on Monday. Oh, wait. Bird Slots says first aid in a zombie invasion, shoot the bitten.
Yeah, actually.
That's a start, but then
you burn the body.
The reason it's actually important is, you might break a leg running away, get safely away. Now you got a broken leg in a world where hospitals don't exist anymore. And that's why the CDC runs that program. It's a very interesting program. But thanks for watching, and we will see you Monday.